Welcome back to the Omnibus Cafe. My name's Kevin, and today we're going to talk about Animal Man by Tom Veitch and Steve Dillon. This is the omnibus that comes directly after the Grant Morrison run, which I reviewed recently, and I can't wait to dig into it. So grab your cup of coffee, and let's check out this book. All right, here is Animal Man by Tom Veitch and Steve Dillon. Noticeable, just something I want to call out. Peter Milligan didn't get any billing on the top of this. He is mentioned on the back, but he does the first 6 issues. And this is a relatively small book, maybe 20 some issues. So I thought it kind of odd that they didn't share billing because the Peter Milligan stuff is absolutely crazy. But let's this takes place immediately following the Grant Morrison run. So if you've read the Grant Morrison book, you pick this up and kind of read fluidly from there on. But let's take the dust jacket off because we're not animals like Animal Man. All right, let's dig into it. This book was pretty stiff. I did stretch it out a few times, so I might have to hold it. All right, Animal Man, Tom Veitch, Steve Dillon. The first 6 issues, we get Chaz Truog continuing the art, and he'll show up later on in the book. But then we get some early Steve Dillon and just fantastic stuff. This is all Animal Man stories. There is one crossover, very short crossover from War of the Gods. There's only 4 pages of that issue, which is kind of unique. Well, let's dig into this book and find out what's going on. So if, spoiler alert, if you haven't read the Grant Morrison book, you probably should not read this right away. You should probably go read Grant Morrison. And if you know how Grant Morrison's book ended, Grant Morrison puts Buddy Baker, Animal Man, through some pretty traumatic stuff that's, kind of unique to his storytelling. And so we start this story with Buddy Baker in a coma, and we have no idea why. Some time has passed since the end of the Morrison run. One other thing I want to show you is that Brian Boland continues doing all of the covers throughout this book, but what they do in the design of this book, which I absolutely love, is they include the cover and then they include just Brian Boland's pencils, and I believe he inks it himself, which is really cool to see. So again, Peter Milligan takes over this story immediately following the Grant Morrison run. Buddy's in a coma, and we don't know why. Buddy eventually wakes up from the coma, but things in his life are a little bit different. His wife is smoking cigarettes, and she ends up cheating on him. His daughter's acting weird. She thinks that he's not her real dad. There's a different president. Buddy's confused out of his mind. He doesn't know how long he was in this coma. And he also, like us, the reader, doesn't know how he got in the coma. So the first 6 issues of this by Peter Milligan are absolute. It's crazy. It's just, it's almost psychedelic how crazy it is. You, the reader, are going through this confusing time along with Buddy Baker. These covers are fantastic. I love Brian Boland's cover work. So the world doesn't make sense to Buddy. It doesn't make sense to us. Again, there's different presidents. Hitler never died. Marvin Gaye's still alive, making music. And again, we don't know why or what's going on. Like, is he still in his coma? They kind of hint at maybe that's what's going on. But throughout this, Buddy is approached by these 2 CIA agents, and they say they need him to save the president's life against this group of kids. And I forget these kids' names. Maybe I've got it in my notes, but they're 3 strange kids, and they can control people's pain receptors, they can control people's minds, and they can control people's actions. And it was really cool. And one of my favorite things about Animal Man is that, this takes place in San Diego, so it's kind of removed from the main DC universe. But these CIA agents say, Batman failed against these kids. Superman's busy. He can't save the president. It's only you, buddy. And he's teamed up with this character called Nowhere Man. I'll see if I can get a picture of Nowhere Man. But here's another example of Brian Boland's cover art, fully completed and colored. And here it is, just pencils and inks. And they do that throughout the book, which is really cool. So again, Buddy is teamed up with this guy, Nowhere Man, who is like, what do they call it? Molecularly displaced. He's like, his body's always kind of falling apart and just looks really weird, almost like a dream or a nightmare. And he speaks he speaks like a doped out version of Yoda. Just his sentence structure is really weird, and it adds to the weirdness of this story. But as we get to the end of this, we slowly realize that Buddy is somehow, through whatever happened to put him in this coma, he's in an alternate universe, but he ends up finding his way back. So the very next issue, it's handed over to Tom Veitch and Steve Dillon. And Steve Dillon's art is fantastic, especially in this book. Like there's something different about his art in this book. But Buddy's back from his coma / universal time jumping displacement thing, and he's ready to get back to business. He's been using his animal powers to help make money in the movie, doing stunts for movies. So he's doing a stunt for these movies using his animal powers. But something's going wrong with his powers, and Buddy slowly learns that every time he borrows an animal's powers or a bird's power to fly, birds start dying, and birds are dying everywhere. Throughout this run, Buddy's again, I love that it's in the DC universe and they mention things that kind of familiarize yourself with the DC universe, but Buddy's on his own out here. He is approached a couple times by some other heroes to join them in crossovers, but Buddy's not ready to be a superhero again yet. In fact, at one point, he's contacted by Captain Atom to join in some superhero mission, but Buddy declines, saying that there's no money in it and he needs to focus on supporting his family. We meet this other character in this run called Travis Cody, who at one time accidentally shoots his son with an arrow because he thinks he's the one that actually finds out that Animal Man's powers are what's killing these birds. So this guy here, Travis Cody, another awesome cover here. Travis Cody, he's kind of this, he's got a doctorate in electrical engineering, but he's kind of a burnt out hippie. But he's really good at kind of figuring things out, and he slowly turns into Buddy / Animal Man's sidekick and helping him figure out what's going on with his powers and how to better connect with what we're calling the M field, and that's Animal Man's connection to animal powers, the M field. So as Buddy continues to struggle balancing his family life, his finances, and his superhero work, his wife ends up leaving him. Not like divorce leaving him, but just, we need to get away from you a little bit. Your life's a little crazy. Some things happen that affect his daughter. So she ends up going out to Vermont to stay with her mother, and Buddy's life just keeps unraveling. He's struggling to maintain control over his powers. His wife and daughter have left. They left his son with him in San Diego, and he's, a young punk getting into problems. And Buddy keeps getting approached by this group called, I don't know if I've put it in my notes here, I forget, Star Labs, who we met in the Grant Morrison run. And Star Labs wants him to help them with some kind of BS animal conservation thing, and Buddy kind of sees right through it. But we slowly learn who the real bad guy is, and it's this guy that works at Star Labs, and he's kind of doing things on his own, trying to make some kind of superhuman, super soldier type serum, and just doing some bad things with science and using or abusing Buddy's powers to make them happen. Buddy ends up heading out to Vermont to see his wife and his daughter after his son Cliff ran away and is missing, supposedly in Vermont, but they don't know where he is. On his way out there, really cool issue. He teams up with Dr. Fate and some other DC heroes in the War of Gods. They only include like 4 pages of that book for some reason. Another cool aspect of this book is we get kind of this Alan Moore and comic book within a comic book thing. So Buddy's son is reading this book called The Penalizer, and he's kind of a bad copy of the Punisher. Buddy's because of his financial situation, his wife actually goes to work and is doing coloring for him, and just a really cool, again, comic book within a comic book, kind of meta story that really pays off. So as Buddy's out here, he ends up going after Star Labs and figuring out, who's really behind the, kind of messing with his powers and what's going on. And I don't want to give away the end of the book, but really cool story. I really hope we get this story continued in what would probably be, it was in the Tiger Eyes poll, speaking of animals, called Animal Man: The Vertigo Years, and that would follow up right from this and finish that first arc or that first run of Animal Man that started in the late 80s and ended in the 90s. But really fun story. Not so much a superhero comic, but really just Buddy Baker trying to be a dad, trying to be a husband, trying to get through life. Really cool story. So, was Animal Man by Tom Veitch and Steve Dillon as good as Grant Morrison's run? No, it wasn't, but it was really close, and it was a hell of a ride. I absolutely loved this book. I really hope that we get the Animal Man Vertigo Years omnibus printed here soon, which would finish out kind of that first run started by Grant Morrison. Again, I thought the Peter Milligan stuff, the first 6 issues that kicked off this book, were weird, very dense, really, really psychedelic and crazy. I absolutely loved it, but it was definitely a departure from Grant Morrison. Then we go over to Tom Veitch and Steve Dillon's amazing art, and this is an amazing story about Buddy Baker. Animal Man's a superhero, but Buddy Baker doesn't want to be a superhero. He's got these superpowers, but he's really just trying to provide for his family, save animals, and kind of figure out his life. This is as much a slice of life story as you're going to get in a superhero book. But Animal Man's been a huge shocker to me this year. Again, I read Grant Morrison earlier this year, and then now the Tom Veitch run, and I'm in love. Hope we get more. I need to check out the Lemire book. But let me know down in the comments what you guys thought about Animal Man by Tom Veitch and Steve Dillon. Did you like it more, less, or was it just different than the Grant Morrison run? If you like this content, please consider hitting the subscribe button. We absolutely love talking about comics, specifically collected editions with you all. And that's all I got for today. We'll see you on the next review. Thanks.
If you're looking for great deals on collected edition comics or manga, we recommend shopping at panelboundcomics.com. They offer free shipping on orders over $30, plus bundled discounts to help you save even more. And if you're shopping from Europe or the UK, comicsbugle.com offers free EU shipping and a rewards program for regular buyers. Don't forget to use our discount codes at checkout.